Hello, pot of gold Labradoodle puppy parents. This is your birth announcement video. In today's video, we're going to tell you all about the birthing process for these little petite Labradoodle puppies. They are just 24 hours old. We're going to give you a bit of an update on what's happened since the puppies were born 24 hours ago, and we're going to introduce you to each of the puppies. Hi, I'm Claire from Van Isle Labradoodles, and these are the petite Labradoodle puppies from the pot of gold litter, and this is our Mama Labradoodle Posy. Now you'll hear some sounds in the background in today's video, and that's because in our maternity ward in the next room we have Juniper and her puppies. And Juniper and her puppies are 2.5 weeks old. They are just starting to get their ears open and find their voices. So you may hear some racket in the background. These puppies here from Posy's litter, they're brand new and they're still pretty quiet. They do make a squawk if they get lost from Posy, but otherwise they are pretty quiet bunch. Now that's because our beautiful Mama Labradoodle Posy here is a wonderful mom. She's very devoted. She's very, very serious about being a good mom and looking after her babies. Now it's interesting when you watch our other video, that's for the Sable Truffles litter next door, you'll see that Posy and Juniper have quite different body language with their puppies. Posy generally is wrapped all the ways around her puppies. She likes to completely hide them from anyone's view. I'm just going to put little red color up here because she's hungry and she couldn't find her way through. She is the tiny one in the litter, so we'll just get her pointed in the general direction. So Posy likes to wrap herself right around the puppies. That way nobody can see them. So that's an instinctive thing where she keeps it private. And that if you looked in and you didn't know, you would never have any idea that there were any puppies with her. It also keeps the puppies warm. Now, mind you, in the maternity ward, we've cranked the temperature back up. We had turned it down because Juniper's puppies were old enough that they didn't need that support, but Posy's puppies do. So we've got the heat cranked back up again to 24. So it's a little warm in here. That's why you'll see Posy is panting because it is quite hot in here. But for the first few days, it's important that we keep everything really warm for the puppies. Because puppies are born with their eyes sealed shut, their ears sealed shut, they can't go to the bathroom on their own, and they can't regulate their body temperature. The only thing they can do is use their nose. And inside their nose is a little heat sensor, and that's how they find the warmth of one another and Posy's milk bar. They also, of course, use their nose to scent out the source of milk and where their nutrition is. So now how did this birthing process go? Posy is the type of girl who doesn't give you too many signals when she's getting ready to have her puppies. This is why we get to know our girls so well. We have them come and spend time with us away from their guardians, and we have them come at least a week ahead of time so we can be sure that we're really familiar with their body language and we are right away aware when something starts to change. So normally girls start to pant and they're very restless. They'll shiver, they'll dig like crazy before they're ready to actually deliver the puppies. And we call that stage 1 labor. Stage 1 labor can last for days or it can be just a matter of an hour or less before the puppies arrive. So with Posy, all she does is she stopped eating lunch the day before the puppies were born. She didn't eat lunch. She didn't eat dinner. So I was pretty sure we were thinking about having puppies. And then she did dig a couple of times during the day, but our other dogs who are spayed also do that. So nothing too much. No shivers, no panting. She was a little bit more clingy, but Posy tends to be the type of girl who really enjoys being right where I am anyways. And when she's at home with her guardian mom, right where her guardian mom is. So there wasn't a lot of signs. But then we have a little bit of a funny story that happened before she was born. Juniper's guardian was coming to visit her, and so we took all the other dogs and put them outside so they could go run around and play outside and not be here and barking and getting in the way of Juniper's visit. So Posy went out with them just like she has every other day. And Reynold and I were chatting with Juniper's guardian and watching the football game. And I was like, I wonder, should we leave her out there that long or should we go check on her? It was pouring rain, and it had been pouring rain for about 2 days, as often is the case in the winter on Vancouver Island. And sure enough, our other dogs were all there waiting to come in. No Posy. Now our backyard is completely secure, so we weren't worried that she had gone anywhere. It was just, her instinct has kicked in. She's looking for a place to nest. So what did she do? But she found the worst possible place as far as we were concerned. We have a large pile of yard debris. We're only allowed to burn twice a year on Vancouver Island. And so we pile this up, waiting for the spring burn time. She had dug her way underneath and inside of there and dug the nest. Well, of course, she was mud from head to toe. This is not what you want when your mama is getting ready to birth some puppies. We don't want them all covered in mud and dirt from outside, do we, Popo? Oh, it was quite a mess. So she had mud up to the top of her knees. Her face was black. Her back was soaking and had mud soaked into it. And worst of all, the milk bar was just caked in mud. Every single one of her nipples was full of black dirt. So we can't bath girls when they're at that stage. Their cervix is open and it's too easy for bacteria to get in. So it's important that they're not getting wet. They're not swimming or being bathed. So we had to be innovative and use lots of towels, lots of wet face cloths, and really scrub away. But one of the beauties of Australian Labradoodles, besides these beautiful, silky, non-shedding coats, is mud just really falls off of them. And because this was before dinner time, we had enough time for Posy to dry off, and then all it took was just a little brush, and you can see there's no evidence of dirt on her whatsoever. There is some evidence of dirt on the floor in our living room, but that was easy to vacuum up. So she gave us a little bit of a headache there before the labor began. And then we went to bed and everything was fine. About 3 in the morning, she started digging in earnest, and Spirit, our dog who lives with us, came and gave me a nudge and said, you know, she's getting ready. You might want to wake up now. We had everything all ready. The whelping nest was all ready to go. All our supplies, we had that all done the day before. And so at 3, she started digging in earnest and making quite a mess of all of the beds everywhere, throwing cushions all over, a little bit of panting and some shivers. And then Ripple sat right up just before 6 in the morning, and she had a very steady look on her face, and she was gazing very intently at Posy, and we knew, okay, it's go time. So then we quickly shoo our other dogs out. At 5 in the morning, they weren't too excited about being woken up and kicked out of the bedroom. We get everything all in the right place, and sure enough, within minutes, Posy started to deliver the puppies. It was a very, very easy, simple, calm, uneventful labor, just the way we like it. She popped them out quite quickly, without any distress, without any pain, and everybody did really well. We didn't have anybody who was particularly congested. We didn't have anybody who needed anything done to help them. They all started squawking right when they came out, and were beautiful, healthy puppies. And as you can see, we have quite the variety of colors and patterns here. Now, while they're nursing, I'm not going to disturb them too much because they are just 24 hours old. So eating is the most important job they have. So you can see here we have the one, and this is a party girl. We do have 4 girls and 1 boy. And in Juniper's litter that arrived 2 weeks ago, we have 4 boys and 1 girl. It would have been nice if maybe both of them had been a little bit more even, but that's okay. And we do have one family who is on both these litter lists, so they'll be getting a puppy from each of these litters, which is really fun. It's just a really exciting time for them to bring home 2 puppies. It's important that they're not puppies from the same litter and that there is a bit of separation in time, but still close enough that they can do most things together. We know they're going to grow up to be great friends. So when the puppies were born here, this one here is an extreme party. And that means that there is more white than the usual 50% white in a party. And now this puppy is a caramel, so you won't see a lot of color on her face yet, but as time goes by, this color will darken and darken, and she'll end up being this gorgeous same sort of red, dark red caramel that Posy is. And then we have a couple of phantoms, and then these 2 puppies here are either caramels or they're red. Okay, so what makes the difference? Well, in Labradoodle world, it's the color of your nose. Your nose, the pads of your feet, and your eyelids are called your leathers. And it's the color of the leathers that determine the actual category of the dog. So these 2 dogs you can see are basically the exact same color, but let's say this one has a rose nose and this one has a black nose, then this one will be a caramel and this one would be a red. So it's a distinction that only really matters to breeders. It doesn't really matter to you. What do you care? This is what they look like. So now let's go through the birth and we'll tell you all about the timing and the weights, and we can find out who was the biggest and who was the smallest in the litter. So the first puppy who was born was Pink Collar Girl, and she arrived at 4:57 a.m., just about 5 o'clock in the morning, and she weighed 187 grams. And Pink is a black phantom girl, and this is her right here. She is nursing right now, so I'm just going to leave her be. So she's black in the body, but she has tan across her chest and up her legs, and we might be able to see here underneath her tail. Oh, she doesn't want me to show anybody her bum. Very, very modest girl. Then next at 5:31, we had Red Collar Girl. And Red Collar Girl was 143 grams. This is Red Collar Girl here. At 143 grams, she is the smallest in the litter. She's not nursing, so I can pick her up. We just always want to give lots of advance warning before we touch them. And we'll make sure that Posy's okay with letting us touch them. She may not want me to pick them up too far. Now this puppy is really mini Posy. She's very tiny, as you can see. She's got that same white on her face and up her head that Posy has, white on her chest, and some white on her paws. So she's just a little tiny scrap of a thing, just so tiny. But she's a good feisty girl. She's already used her good problem-solving skills and used her litter mates to climb over top of them when she's trying to find her way over to the milk bar. I'm just going to put her back where she was there in case she does decide she's hungry. There you go, my princess. After Red was Black Collar, and Black Collar is the biggest puppy in the litter at 222 grams. Black Collar is the caramel extreme party, so you can't see too much of her at the moment. She is a really big, strong, vigorous puppy. You can see some of her caramel markings here on the top of her head. She also has a caramel patch over her right eye, and then her left ear is solid caramel. So she has a very nice balance of that caramel marking. This is going to be an absolutely gorgeous puppy as she gets older. You'll see more and more of those caramel colors come through. So as often happens, the smallest and the biggest are right next to each other in a litter, and we have that again here in this litter. Then we have Blue Collar, our only boy, who was born at Blue Collar, where are you? 5:49 a.m. and he was 208 grams, and he's way back here. There we go. Hi, buddy. So now this is what our firstborn girl looks like, a black phantom. So now you can see a little bit of the tan markings. He's what we call a weak phantom, in that those tan markings are kind of smooshed up with the black, so we don't see them really strongly. And then he's got that beautiful white goatee there, just a gleaming ebony puppy. I just love how shiny these coats are already. So that's our little blue collar boy. And then our last girl is purple collar. And purple collar, hey little sweetheart, come here. Come on. That a baby girl. Now you'll hear me talking to them all the time. No, they can't hear me. I just talk to them always right from the get-go. And if you're wondering what these collars are, they're actually the elastics that you use to make a face mask. So during COVID, these elastics became really easy to source, and they're great for the puppies. They're very small, they're very soft, and they're really easy to adjust. So this little girl, I don't believe she has any white on her. Oh, a little tiny little dot. But basically this is a solid. And as I said, she's either a red or a red caramel. We don't know yet because we don't know what color her nose will be. Right now it's just a pretty pink. And Miss Purple Collar Girl was 185 grams, and she was born at 6:01 a.m. So all 5 puppies arrived in just a few minutes over an hour. It was really a nice, quite quick delivery, and that's what we like, to have the puppies born quickly. When the puppies are born, they come in their own sack. Each puppy has their own sack. Either Posy or I open the sack. It's up to Posy to tell me if she wants to do it or if she wants some help. They each have their own placenta. Sometimes Mom eats the placenta, as it's full of lots of nutrition and vitamins for them, because they do not eat beforehand, as I was saying. They evacuate their system, so nothing is in their system when they deliver, and then they need to have that added energy. Because were we not feeding her, she would be in the nest with the puppies and not leaving for several days. So it would be important to have a really good concentrated source of food. So we let Posy and all of our girls decide if that's something they wish to do or not. Posy was happy with having a couple, and the rest she wasn't interested in. And then she enjoyed her normal food afterwards. Right, baby girl? That's a very good girl. So Posy's very devoted, as I said. She's not keen on leaving the nest right now. She is, however, experienced enough and comfortable enough that she will come out and go to the bathroom. Some girls, the first time, you have to literally pick them up and carry them outside because they will not leave their babies. Fortunately, she and Juniper, they know each other. They were here, Posy was here for about 10 days ahead of time, which gave lots of opportunity for Posy and Juniper to interact outside of the maternity ward and establish the fact that they were okay with one another. Juniper had already had her puppies. Juniper was well aware that Posy was pregnant. They can tell all of that from how they smell one another. And Juniper was perfectly fine when Posy joined her with her babies. Curious and a little bit jealous that she's no longer the center of attention, but still very welcoming and completely calm. There's no fussing between the girls. There's no arguing, no growling, no biting, nothing like that. When Posy's puppies cry, Juniper will somewhat be interested. She sort of lifts her head up to see what it is. Juniper's puppies are more interested in what the sound is than Juniper herself is. There we go. We get this little girl started on this back one here, and see if she's actually hungry. Lots of times it's just a natural instinct as a person. You want to get them their feeding. You're trying to make sure they're well nurtured. And sometimes the puppies won't eat. And that's not because there's something wrong with the puppy or they're weak. It's because they're full. They've already eaten. And as you can see right now, nobody is eating except for little red collar here. And that just gives us an opportunity to meet Miss Black Collar Girl here, because although she's attached, there we go, she's not actually eating. So here she is with that beautiful dark ear that I was talking about, matching the patch over her eye. And then most of her, well, all of her is white otherwise. So she's just going to be the prettiest puppy in the whole world. Now, some people wonder if a white puppy is hard to keep clean. So, you know, there's the saying that if you have a white car, it's harder to keep clean than a black car. Yeah, you'll see a few more things. It'll be more evident when they have mud on their paws, but it comes off just as easily as it does on any color of dog. So that's our puppies. We're not going to stay any longer with Posy today. It's important that she not be too disturbed, although she doesn't mind if we're here. She's just doing a great job. The kids are all thriving right now. We will be weighing them in a little bit later this afternoon. Make sure that everybody is gaining okay. If anybody isn't, then we'll support them and we'll supplement them if we need to. But normally we try to avoid doing that as long as they are making a decent gain. And then what we always hope is in the first week to 10 days that the puppies double their birth weight. And we'll just wait and see how that goes. So we hope you'll join us again next week for our week 1 update. There'll be a lot of changes even just in that short period of time. And if you are on our litter list for this, you will hear from me between now and then about a variety of different things. And then you'll also get a weekly educational video so that you're fully prepared when your puppy comes home. If you have a chance and you can leave us a comment, we really appreciate that. It helps us so much. It helps us keep the channel going. The algorithm doesn't depend, but the algorithm reads what's going on. And if there's no comments, they tend to ignore your videos. So if you can make a comment, even if it's just thanks, that would be fantastic. If you don't have time for that, a thumbs up would also be appreciated. And don't forget to think about subscribing to our channel. We try to tell you something a little different in each video. So we'll see you again for our week 1 update and later this week for Juniper's week 3 update. And thank you so much for watching.